Hello and welcome to this English episode of Diary of a Common Man. My name is Salim Lalani, and this week we will talk about Memoirs of Agakhan. That is Agakhan 3. But before we talk about that topic, I would like to talk about a couple of things. First of all, I continue to get questions in relation to what would it take me to basically wind up this campaign. In other words, what is it that I'm striving for? And I think I have spoken about it on many occasions, but it seems that this question doesn't want to go away. So I will continue to address this because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. So let me cover that for you in brief. If some kind of a miracle happens and Aga Khani system wants to basically talk to me, what would I put on the table? I would put three things on the table. Number one, I would like the Imamat to make an announcement in the Jamaat Khana that money is not compulsory. Okay. This particular Aga Khan has never made any direct farmans in relation to the mandatory nature of the Sond. Okay. But on the other hand, he has never denied it either. Okay. Sultan Muhammad Shah used to directly say that look, I if you don't give the son, then you're killing my Imamat. Okay. This Aga Khan has not said anything like that, but he doesn't deny it either. He doesn't come out openly and say that, look, it is not necessary for you to give the son anymore. So his silence on the issue is basically validating what Sultan Muhammad Shah used to say. And accordingly, the ITREB, which is Tariqa board, is basically getting Wazins to continue to propagate or spread the propaganda that if you don't pay the son, you will basically end up in hell. So my first condition is that Imam should make an announcement in the Jamaat Khana that there's no compulsion in religion and money is no different. There's no the son to be paid. If you want to pay money, that's another matter which we'll come to in a minute. But yeah, that's the first condition. Second condition I would have is I would have the imam channeling the money towards the poor. So whatever revenue that is happening or coming into the system, that money needs to be channeled towards the poor. So for example, if rich people still want to give to the imam cannot accept the money because he doesn't need it. That money needs to go straight to the poor people in the Jamaat Khana or poor people around the world. Or if they're not poor, there are many murids whose life is in danger. They live in constant fear of death. For example, the war-torn countries like Syria and Afghanistan. So the money should be going towards alleviating ultra poverty that I basically spoke about last week. The pictures that I brought from India. Uh, and apart from the poverty, obviously, to protect and give security to Murids who live in war torn countries. That would be my second condition. The third condition, obviously, this is all wishful thinking at this point in time, but because somebody has asked me what would it take me to wind up, I'm just explaining, nothing else. But then remember, although it is wishful thinking, miracles do happen and they have happened. In the last 2 years, what did we see? Imamat has been on the back foot. Okay, did we ever imagine that Imamat uh, would be basically uh, they would have no answer to my questions, and they would basically find themselves completely lost. And yeah, so we didn't even imagine that. And we didn't even imagine Imam uh, sending such a ridiculous letter to a to a common man, a rebel. Anyway, that would be my second condition. Third condition would be that they will have to apologize to Wazir. If you remember, Wazir was humiliated. He was thrown out of the Jamaat Khana. He was illegally detained. For what? On the suspicion of taking photographs in the Jamaat Khana. Photographs and the videos that are taken by every murid in the Jamaat Khana. I have used mobile phones in my time in Jamaat Khana. I know people do it even today. Why Wazir? And even if he did it, what was so special about him being humiliated like that? Just because he was acting on my behalf? And what am I doing? I'm trying to capture the wrongdoing in the Jamaat Khana. And obviously, they did not like that. So, humiliating a dignified person, he may not be financially well off, he may not be very educated either. Okay, he's a very simple man. And for them, for the system to basically abuse him physically and to humiliate him in front of the whole Jamaat, I think that was over the top. And I think the system realizes how what kind of they do realize that it's been absolute stupidity on their part. In fact, they have played straight into my hands as they have been doing for last 2 years. One mistake after another. Why? Because they're confused. Because they're trying to protect the secrecy. And now somebody is bent on exposing them completely. Now they are in a panic mode. And when you are in panic, what do? You make mistakes, some serious ones, like the system has made. One of them is abusing Wazir, which is going to go a long way. So that would be my third condition, that Wazir should receive an apology in public by the President of the Council, Mr. Karim Sumar. And my fourth condition, I didn't talk about, I said three, but actually it would be four. And that would be to remove all the brainwashing material from the Jamaat Khana. What are the brainwashing material? Anything that basically suggests that Aga Khan is God or Imam is God, and anything that suggests that he owns us, and it is absolutely compulsory, mandatory to pay the son. If we don't pay the son, this is going to happen and that is going to happen. That is to me brainwashing material. That material is to be found in the Jamaat Khana all over the place. You will find them in the Ginans, you will find them in the religious vices, you will find them in the library, you will find them in the religious night school, you will find them in the rituals that are being performed on a daily basis. You will even find them in Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farmans and to some degree in current Aga Khan's Farmans as well. So all that material needs to be removed. Now I know that for me to make to wish all this is one thing, and for the system to actually come to the party is quite another. Because by the time they fulfill my wishes to make me disappear, the system has collapsed anyway. Because if you remove the uh, brainwashing material, what is there? What is left to work with? How do they brainwash people? And if they don't brainwash people, then how do they generate money? Okay, so I know I'm asking for a lot, but that's the way it is. That is the way it is. That I want the brainwashing to be stopped. I want the abuse to stop, particularly of poor people, the financial abuse. There is an abuse of trust as well. The trust of the murid is being abused. Aga Khan is basically saying that I'm this and I'm that. He's not any of that. He is just a greedy businessman. He's not an imam. He's got nothing to do with religion. And he's definitely not the divine representative. And obviously, it is ridiculous to think of him as God, particularly from the Islamic point of view. So, yes, it's almost impossible for them to remove all the brainwashing material. But as I said, I'm let's see, let them come if they come, that is. Um, if they do, this is what I'm going to say. So let's move on and talk about the memoirs of Aga Khan. Aga Khan, as I have spoken on so many occasions, was a genius for many reasons. And the most important reason, and the most obvious one, is he was a creator of this system, the religio commercial social system that basically made a fool out of almost everyone. And he got away with it. He got away with it. And that is why I call him a genius. He fooled his murids, he fooled his own country, which is Britain, UK. He fooled the Indian politicians, and he fooled so many people and so many organizations around the world. So In this particular work, in fact, he wrote two books. One was India in Transition, and the second was his own memoirs. And when you read his memoirs, you basically get an impression. You get certain impressions. For example, he is so proud of basically mingling with the royals, rubbing shoulders with the royals. He is so proud of basically belonging to Europe and making friends with the white people. And another striking thing is the amount of lies that he has basically written in that book. So, whenever you get a chance, you should definitely refer, you should definitely read Memoirs of Agakhan. I'm pretty sure you can download the copy from the internet. That's what I did. Anyway, so but to spot the lies in the book, you will have to understand Ismaili Tariqa the way it is. You will need to be a very observant, a very vigilant Ismaili Murid to be able to spot all the lies. So, in case you are not one of them, I'm going to basically talk about that book and to make it easy for you to spot the lies. Now, another thing before I start is a lot of people sometimes say to me, "Why do you only have to say negative things about the Imam and the system?" And I think I've addressed that before as well. I'm basically talking about the negative things just to balance the status quo, just to balance the argument. I'm only talking about negative things because at this point in time, what is out there is only positives, which are actually negatives disguised as positives. So I'm trying to do is to lift the cover from over those positives that are actually an illusion created by the system. I'm actually trying to show you the real picture the way it is. The only positive thing I see in the system is it is a fantastic social club. There can be no doubt about it. But it is a fraudulent system. It is designed to abuse people's trust and it is designed to abuse people's money for the benefit of one person, and that is the Imam of the time. And that's all I'm trying to do. So let's come back to the Memoirs of Aga Khan. Every week, I will basically uh, talk about a couple of things here and there from the memoirs, and then next week I'll come to some more, and then keep going like that until I finish the whole book. So let's start with the first one today. Let's read this. This is from the memoirs. First is it must be understood that though these fundamental ideals are universally accepted by Muslims, they does not exist in Islam, and there has never existed any source of absolute authority. We have no papal encyclical to propound and sanction a dogma, such as Roman Catholics possess, and no 39 articles like those which state the doctrinal position of the Church of England. Basically, what Aga Khan 3 is trying to say there He's basically trying to teach Islam to the people around the world. Now, should he be teaching Islam? Should he be preaching Islam? Let's see if he should be. Okay. In this particular paragraph that we just read, he is saying that in Islam, there is no authority as such, no absolute authority as such. What does he mean by that? What he's talking about there, let's put it in perspective. He's saying that after the Prophet died in 632 AD, there is no spiritual authority bestowed upon anyone. Prophet had the spiritual and the secular authority over the Murids, over the Muslims. But once he died, there's no absolute authority. This is what Muslims believe. But then Shias believe that the Imam of the time has the divine authority. All right. Now, he is talking about an absolute authority. But that is not true. Shia Islam always has had absolute authority. And we don't have to go very far. His own system is authoritarian. He is an authoritarian. The Imam today is an authoritarian. Why? Because nobody can go beyond his authority. Nobody can challenge him. So it is a lie to say that in Islam there is no authority. His own system is authoritarian. And of course, Shias believe that the Imam is the guide, Amirul Mominin. He is the person who can interpret the Quran the way it should be interpreted. He is the person who guides people from time to time. So that's number one lie. Number two lie. No papal encyclical. What is encyclical? Papal is uh, anything coming from Pope. See, encyclical is like a religious order, like a farman that Aga Khan issues. So he's saying there's no farmans from any authority in Islam. What about himself? He forgot. He forgot that he is an imam and he sends out farmans to people, which are binding upon everybody. That is lie number two. So he's talking about Islam, but he doesn't tell anybody that what Islam preaches, I don't practice that. He doesn't say that. He is preaching Islam to other people and doing exactly the opposite behind the closed doors in the Jamaat Khana. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Sultan Muhammad Shah. And that is Aga Khan, the current Aga Khan. That's the way they work. Then the third lie. Sultan Muhammad Shah says there's no dogma. But hang on. What about your system? The dogmatic system, where you are preaching Imam's infallibility, where you are preaching Imam's divinity, where you are preaching the mandatory nature of the Sun. It is full of dogma, the Ismaili system. Okay. So that is paragraph number one. Now let's look at paragraph number two. Let us then study the duties of man, as the great majority interpret them according to the verses of the Quran and the tradition of the Prophet. First of all, the relation of man to God. There are no priests and there are no monks. And there is no confession of sins except directly to God. What a lie. There are no priests and there are no monks and there is no confession of sins. Oh my God. If you go to Jamaat Khana, that is exactly what he has. The priest is a Mukhi Sahib. In fact, Mukhi Sahib is a bit higher than a priest. Okay. Pope basically is the top authority in a Christian church. Aga Khan is the top authority in Ismaili system. Aga Khan says that I am Mukhi Sahib. So in the Jamaat Khana, I am there in the form of Mukhi Sahib. Pope never said that. Pope never said that my priest in the local church is me. Aga Khan did. So Mukhi Sahib's position is much higher than a priest. And here is Sultan Muhammad Shah saying there's no priest. Okay. Then you come to another lie, which says there is no confession of sins in Islam except directly to God. That's what he says. But hang on, hang on, hang on. He has forgotten something. He has forgotten that he makes people seek forgiveness of sins from him instead of God. He becomes God and people seek forgiveness from him. Tobo tobo saksirdar, bando sirta pa gunegar. Yasha tu bakshe, bakshanhar. And Mukhi Sahib says, may Mola fulfill your wishes of being sinless. Mola, Aga Khan, that is yet another lie. And now let's look at the last one for today. Reasonable fasting for a month in every year, provided a man's health is not impaired thereby, is an essential part of the body's discipline through which the body learns to renounce all impure desires, adultery, alcoholism, slander, thinking evil of one's neighbor are specially and severely condemned in Islam, that is. All men, rich and poor, must aid one another materially and personally. Now, look who is talking. He is teaching Islam. He's saying fasting for 1 month is is an essential part of a body's discipline according to the Quran. But does he get his murids to fast like Muslims do? No. Hypocrisy. Preaching but not practicing himself. That's one thing. They're then talking about alcoholism is is severely condemned. What about himself? What about himself? What about himself gambling? What about himself committing adultery? Is that allowed in Islam? That is Sultan Muhammad Shah. That is Memoirs of Aga Khan. But we have only begun. This is the first episode. In the next episode, I'll bring you more amazing lies of um, um, of this particular Imam, who I think was a genius, but in a negative way. Now, I have spoken for last half an hour. Let me see if I can take some questions, if there are any. So FM says, pray in Shah, pray inshallah all your three wishes are fulfilled. That will really help all the poor people. Wow, that is excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, FM. Uh, what is the source of all those ginans? I mean, who wrote all those wordings. Yes, so Ginans were copied by the peers from the Indian Vedas and Indian Hindu scriptures, and we are going to basically do a program on that. We are going to call upon and invite one Hindu expert on religious text, and then get them to compare the Ginans and see where did the Ginans originate from. So watch the space, keep watching, and we will bring that to you. Okay, next question is, how about membership fees to attend JK membership? How about membership fees to attend JK for prayers and good lectures? Yeah, uh, there's no membership fees for attending lectures and prayers, but there's a membership fee to basically join religious meetings. Okay, next one. What about the akhirat of those who died as Ismailis? Um, well, akhirat of those people who died as Ismailis, it belongs, it depends on their deeds. the the nature will decide as to whether the person, if they've committed good deeds, they will get good birth next time around. If they have not committed good deeds, they may not get the birth very quickly, and or they may get an inferior kind of a birth. But we'll talk about those kind of things some other day. In fact, in my next series, we'll talk about these things. Okay, and the last one, Mola Papa Pig is undefeatable. Oh, okay. So that is uh, whether he's undefeatable, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how that happens. There's one more comment, the last one. What is your advice for people in Pakistan if they wish to somehow purify the system from Aga Khani lobbies? What is your opinion about Imran Khan's assassination attempt? I will definitely not make any comments on Imran Khan's assassination attempt, because I don't have any knowledge of the political situation in Pakistan, and I do not intend to get into that at all. But the first question is, what is my advice in relation to uh, people want to purifying the system? Now, to purify the system, it will need to come from inside. So, what we are doing here on this channel is to make people aware so that people can begin the purification process from inside. Now, what does purification mean from inside? Is to remove all the negativities. What is the negativity? It is the greed of the Imam. It is the greed of the leaders who are basically dipping their hands into the religious money. So these people will have to basically, if money is removed from the place of worship, the whole thing will become purified. Okay, so removing the money is somehow is basically what I'm striving for. I'm saying that money should not be a part of the religious system. If it is, it should be channeled towards the poor. It should not be channeled towards Aga Khan. So I already spoke about that earlier in my stream. So these are all the comments today, and unfortunately, there are not many people today. Is this something to do with cricket? I don't know, but anyway, we'll hope that next week more people will join and more people will participate. In the meanwhile, you take care of yourself. I'll see you next week on Saturday, first with the Urdu stream, and then on Sunday, as usual, same time, same place, with the English stream. Please take care of yourself. Goodbye.